before starting, this one is very important. Your attitude will determine how well you do. We from Sankiki team wish you all the best. This is the first class. There is a saying, starting is half done. So if you utilize your time properly, you concentrate properly, you learn a lot today. Without further ado, let's get started. See here, this is Jupyter notebook. So this is a free open source distribution of Python. I'm talking about Anaconda. And here Jupyter notebook, this is open source web application. It allows you to create, store documents that contain live code, visualizations, equations, everything. Now, how you get it? If you have any problem, you can open, write CMD here. Sometimes it creates a problem. If by chance you won't get this one, first you write Anaconda. If you get Anaconda Navigator, then you can go there. Even see, it's not working here. So it's not very unnatural, okay? I can sort it out, but I'm not going to that. You just write command prompt here. I already opened here. You can write Conda. This is the package manager. Is Conda update. Conda. If you press here, then everything will be updated. Then you can write here Jupyter notebook. If you write Jupyter notebook, then this will be open for you. Anyway, if it's not open for you, you need not worry. We'll start from here. So now our focus is to learn Python programming. You forget about every other thing. Data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, Jupyter notebook, Anaconda distribution. We have other ways also. You can go to python.org and there also you can download Python. We have so many types of IDEs, text editor. We have Sublime Text here also you can do. It's not that you have to come to Jupyter notebook, but then yeah, see, you can come here. This is Sublime Text. Here also you can write code and you can run your programs. But yeah, these things will be quite all right in course of time. That will never create any problem. Now, let me write simple statement like print. This is a print statement. Again, let me tell you, this will be a problem solving session. We'll try to develop the concepts by solving problems. I'll not take you deep into theory. That might create a lot of trouble. Even if you go through the books, a lot of videos here and there, so many things are available, but you have to learn it conceptually, that too in a problem solving manner. See, I'm writing a simple statement here. I want to print. Okay, this is my first print statement. Yeah, I think someone is writing here. Okay, not a problem. So if you write, yeah, that's fine. So I've written a simple statement here. I wanted to print this one. So within quotes, you can write a single quote here, you can write double quotes here, you write print, and within bracket, whatever you wanted to print, you just write it here. Let me write the second print statement for you. This is my second print statement. So you are able to print, okay, print welcome all. So I got the printout here. So if you write, you see CELL cell is written. So whatever you write here, that will be printed here. Okay. So I have not defined any variable yet. I've just written here string, and I printed that within quotes, whatever I write. These are characters here, and I printed this statement. Then the next one is welcome to Sankhiki. So here also you see the same one we get. Now the third one is, let me print Python for everyone. Python programming, to be precise, Python programming for everyone. Yeah. Let me write single quote here. You run it. So Python programming for everyone. See, you just write print here. This is left parenthesis. This is right parenthesis. And here, whatever you want to write, you write within single quote or you write within double quote. That's all. It's so simple. Python is very, very simple. Yeah, I mean, we'll go deeper, but yeah, you will not be able to know. Then let me write print. Please don't waste time. During this pandemic or during holidays, whatever you want to write. So I've written, please don't waste time during holidays. Let me run this one. See, it's very simple. I'll tell you in 3-4 classes the usefulness of all one by one. Okay, don't worry. I can take this one by using this arrow to top. I can bring someone to bottom. All these things I can do. So let me run this one. You check here, there is a syntax, invalid syntax. If anyone would like to say why I got error, that would be great. You can unmute and you can answer. Yeah.
Because quote is being used between your sentence.
Yeah. That's correct. So here I have a quote. Here I have a quote. So it's better if you don't write this, then you will be able to run it. It will not create a problem because within quotes you have to keep everything. However, if you would like to write here quote anywhere because this looks nice and this is right, so in that case double quote will come to your rescue, and then you will be able to run the program. Yeah. So here, welcome all, I've written double quotes, that's fine. Here double quotes, that's fine. Here single quote, that's fine. Here if you want to use some quotes due to any reason, then make it sure that you use double quote here. Even 3 are allowed. 3 means how can you make a triple quote? You single quote 3 times you have to do, because double quote, single quote, that will not work. So this is how print statement. Suppose I will define a variable, I'll go to that. Now here in Python, unlike C programming and other programming languages, we don't define the data types. Once I write a is equal to 10, this is one assignment statement. Automatically 10 will be stored in the memory, and A will point towards 10. Simply you can say 10 will be stored in the variable A. This is identifier. So then I can print this variable. See, this is my first variable A where I stored 10 and I wanted to print A. That's all. It's so simple. A is 10, print A. Next, what I will do is I will copy here. I can make 15 here. Then print B. Okay, print A here. Then print B here. Okay, I printed B. The data types automatically it will take. If you want to know the data type, you write print ID. ID will write later. Print type. Type of A. It will show. It's an integer or maybe it's a string, character, everything it will show. Let me write this one also. Print ID of B. Now see, I've written 15.4, here integer 10, here 15.4, and let me run this one. I got 10 here, and it shows the class integer. Even we have addresses also. Let me write that even. Print ID of A here, and I will write print ID of B here. So what ID will do is, suppose you have a number stored here, whatever number 10, and this is the variable we have written. I'll tell you what can be the names of the variables. Anything you write that can be a variable. We'll go to that later. I already explained you. We'll develop from problems, okay? A will point towards 10, and then it is one ID. This is very, very useful. You will be able to know later. You will have a ID, a number, like our house number. So ID, if I run this once again, you see, now A is 10. How many print statements you have? You have to count. Whenever, even if you are writing a 10 lines program, remember 80% of your programs will be 10, 12 lines. So print here, 3 print statements. So 3 answers you are supposed to get here. One is 10, the number you printed, whatever you stored here. The second one is you printed the type of A. Type of A is integer. And the third one is you wanted to print the ID of A. ID of A is this one. This is the number. This is a big number though. So here you store this number, okay? The identifier, you can say the variable attached to this number is A, or you can say this is one assignment statement where A is stored, A stores one number. Now this is also a number, but the difference is this is a float number, this is an integer. So if you run it here, again you got here 15.4, print B, print ID of B. So we have 3 print statements. The first print statement here is this one. First print statement, it's printing 15.4. I'm going a bit slow. I understand this is the first class. I don't know how many of you know, how many of you don't know. So, but yeah, this is very, very important. Okay. Print ID of B, ID I've written. Print type of B I should have written here. Okay. Let me correct it. So the type is C, float here. Type is integer, int here. There is a difference. Okay. So both are numbers, but then this is an integer. So int comes. This is, even we can write a complex number also. 3 types are there. A, B, let me write a number C here. CC, let me write CC. CC is the variable now. And I will write complex number 5 plus 6i. Those who are not from mathematics background, Never mind, this is just a complex number, whatever you studied in 10th class. It's like 4 plus 5i. Instead of I, we write j here. The same things will copy. 3 print statements will copy and we'll write here. And then we'll change the name to CC. So CC could also be a name. We'll see later, after half an hour, what all names we can give. Now you run it. See, the number we printed, that is 5 plus 6j. The class it gives, if you print this one, the class is complex number. This is integer, okay? Also the ID where it's stored. This is the ID. Okay? Now, from storing numbers, whatever it is, there are 3 types I've written. We can store your names also. Suppose I will start writing names. AA. AA, I will write someone's name. Suppose Amit. That is the first name. I always write. But remember, you have to write within quotes. Otherwise, it will not take. Print AA. If I write print AA, you should not write quotes here. Then what will happen? If you write quotes here, if you run it here, AA will come. A is there, this A is there. Okay, if you write print A, that will be printed. That's a separate thing. But you are printing, it's like this. Welcome all, this way. So because this is a variable now, you should not write any quote here. So you are printing a string here. Okay. Next is you write another one. Ramit. Fine. So you can print Amit and Ramit. No problem. Next, you see the type. So you see, I'm deleting this one. Okay. Now Amit, the name is Amit. That is the first print statement. This command print gives you Amit, and print type of A. The type is str string, and then we have the ID of A. Okay. So remember, if you want to print any name, you have to write within quotes. This is string type. Now suppose I will make a list here, A. If I define A, this A will no more be there. Okay. So now even I can write here list, and then you can make it a comment, or you can go to markdown. Okay, it will become list. You can run it. So let me write a list here. I will take 4 numbers here, 10, 20, 30, 40. Now I can write print A, and you know the other one, print ID of A, print type of A, all those things we can write. Okay. Print ID of A, print type of A, all these things we can write. Apart from that, what we can do is see, this is the list, and this is the ID, this is the type, it's a list, because we have more than one, and this bracket, the brackets are also important, okay? Because we have different brackets here in Python, they mean different things. Now, in A only, what I will do is, instead of printing all the elements here, I want to print one by one, okay? So what I will do is print A0. Let me copy. Zero, 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. So A0 means that is the first one. Okay, this is the index of the list here. The first one is 0 and the second one is 1, then comes 2, then comes 3. So what will happen is, when you print A0, A0, it will print the first one, that is 10. If you print the second, if you wanted to print the second one, you write A1 only. You don't need to print everything. Okay. So if I print one by one, I run it, see, individually I got, see here I got in a row 10, 20, 30, 40, all at a time. However, here I got one at a time, 10, 20, 30, 40. So 4 times I have to write. If you have 100 elements, you have to write 100 times. Okay. But there is a way out. We'll not write 100 times. We'll make it a loop. We'll go to for loops and while loops, those things. But yeah, you remember, this is 10, this is 20. This is 30 and 40. Yep. Fine. 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, one by one. Now, this is one list. What we can do with this list? That is what you need to know. Let me take this opportunity to say you something here. You need not remember anything. You need to remember only a very, very little thing. And then with that, you will be able to learn everything here in Python. So you have to learn the trick of the trade, they say. What you can do with a list, what you can do with a list, if you start studying, it might take 10 days time for you. We have so many things, okay? But then if you really understand conceptually, then it will be a cakewalk for you. So concentrate here and see how things work. Just a minute. Now, there is a natural question after printing all these things. Yeah, we have a chart, some question someone is asking maybe. Okay, not an issue. So can you add 2 lists? Okay, let me write here something like this. I will write dd is equal to small one 10, 20. And then this is another variable. Here I will write 30, 40. Then let me print dd plus ee. Okay. So what you will get? Before this, I would like you to do something else. Okay. So what we can do is, I'm keeping it pending because the number stuff I have not done by now, the addition thing. So let me go to that. Suppose I write A is equal to, very simple one, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, C is equal to A plus B. So what will happen is 10 will be stored in A, 20 will be stored in B, A plus B will be stored in C. Then print C. Now this is one program, we'll run it. Then we'll run it minus. Then you make it star. Then you divide it. Then you write double slash, okay. Then you write this sign. Instead of writing 10 here, because I wanted to add, that's fine. So let me change it a bit. Suppose this is 23, okay. So run this one. 23 plus 20. See, A is 23, B is 20. If you add A and B, the final result will be 43, and that you are printing, okay. 43 here, 23 plus 20, that is 43. Fine. Now here A is 20, A is 23 again, and B is 20. If you subtract B from A, 23 minus 20, that will give you 3. So if you run this one, you will get 3. That's fine. Now you want to multiply 23 and 20. So 230 into 2, that will be 460. Okay. So this is multiplication. You can multiply two numbers. So A is a number, B is a number. Very simple. Now come here. You want to divide here 23 and 20. You divide here. You get 1.15. Okay. If you use a calculator, it will give you 1.15 as well. Now here, double when I write this one, you run this one, what you will get? You will get 0 here. Okay, let me make it 23. So when you are writing 23, here you divide it and you take the integer part only. You don't take the fraction. Okay. Even if I write 230 here, you can check it. It will be 11. 11 into 20 if you do, that will be 220. Then the 10 will come here. Okay. So even let me write 230 here. You see, this gives you the remainder. Okay. And this is very useful later when you see whether number is prime or not. See here, when you divide 230 by 20, so 2 to cancel here, 2 by 23, 2 into 10, that is 20. The remainder is 10. Do you agree? Yeah, 220. The remainder is 10. That's fine. See, 20 into 11 is 220. Remainder is 10. And the 11 we are getting here. Okay. So this is normal division. This is your integer division, you can say. And this gives the remainder. And this is multiplication. This is subtraction. This is addition. So when it comes to numbers, you can do these operations. Yeah. Now let's go back to this one. Now see, numberings are 20 here, 21 here, somewhere 19. We can see, we can go here and restart and run all. If you click here, then everything will be numbered. Okay. But yeah, we'll not worry about that. Our focus is 100% towards the coding. Okay. We'll not worry. Now, similar to this adding numbers here, or suppose let me add, see, automatically I got a cell here because I printed this one. If you keep something here, you will not run, then you have to add from here. Even if you want to cut something, you can cut this way. Okay. Now, suppose I will write a RAM B, sorry, sorry, B Narayan. So if I add A and B and I want to print it, I can print it A and B directly. I can write a print statement here and I print it. Okay, that's fine. But then I would like to save it also. So it's better. I will write C is equal to A plus B. I have a special variable named C here where the things I want to add. Okay, that's also possible. Here, Ram and Narayan, they will be added. This is called concatenation. Okay, so if you run this one, you will get Ram Narayan. Suppose you want to get a space here, you can give a space here. Okay, because this space is also counted, it's one character, so that will come here, Ram Narayan. Okay, so even if you go to the first one here, welcome all, if you want to see codes here, you can do that one as well. You have to write double quote, within that you have to write single quote, you know that. Anyways, let's come here. Yeah, we are able to do this. So Ram Narayan, if you do that, unlike integer addition, here whatever way 23 plus 20 multiplied, these two numbers are added here. Similarly, you are not able to add here. So how automatically it concatenates with the other one? This is called concatenation. How this is happening? This is by construction. Python supports object-oriented programming. We'll be able to know how to use objects. Even in list also we'll use. Now in strings we can add some way, whatever way it's required, and we want to write the first name and the last name. Even we have a middle name we can write here. We can add everything. Even if you want to, instead of writing here, I can add a space here as well. You write this way, space is created, you don't write anything, you run it. Again, same you got. See, Ram is there, you got it here, and this one is here. In between, I have a space. Okay. If you want to make it more clear, you write C is a space. Okay. So you write A plus B plus B plus C, and that is equal to D. Then print D. It's so simple. Okay. It's so simple, Ram Narayan. But yeah, unfortunately, I wrote this way. I have to change this one to C, this one to B. Yeah. Because the space we are unable to see, right? Yeah, Ram Narayan. Because the B, the middle one, that should be empty. Okay. Yeah. You can write this way also. So plus is a meaning here. Now what about list? Suppose I've written a list here. I've written a list here. So what can you do here? Can I add this too? That is my question. So either I will be able to add or I will not be able to add. If I'm able to add, then what I will get? If I multiply 5 with something, if I write, suppose let me write all here. Copy. Plus minus, you multiply, you divide. So I'm doing these operations, the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division here. Okay. So if I want to run this, you see there is a problem. Unsupported operand types for list and all these things it's saying, right? So these are not allowed. Now, how can you know whether some operation is allowed or not? You need not remember anything. I'll tell you how to know everything. Okay. Just follow. So yeah, you can add. Also, whatever way we wanted to add, that way we are not able to add. See, we wanted 10 plus 30. If you run R programming, if you add this way, it will add the first element to the first element, the second element to the second element. In R programming, it's there. But here, if you are using, in R programming, we create vectors though. There you can add element by element corresponding to the first element here. The first element here will be picked up and they will be added. Similarly, corresponding to the second element here, the second element here will be picked and it will be added. Finally, you will get the answer. That's fine. However, here it has a different meaning. In list, you can't add 10, 30. It's impossible. There is no way you can do that. Yeah. Then if you can do that, then how can you do data analysis here? Suppose I write 5 times 7c. Let me multiply something here. Multiply 4. So I wanted 10 to be multiplied by 4, 20 to be multiplied by 4. You see what happens? I'll print DD. Okay, only DD. Yeah, it's not multiplied. 10 is not multiplied by 4. 10, 20, 10, 20, 10, 20, 10, 20 repeated. Okay, this one is repeated 4 times. You will not be able to multiply 10 with 4 and 20 with 4. If you write 40 here, it will be repeated 40 times, but you will never get this way, like 2 here. Okay, yeah. So that's the problem. So we can't multiply the numbers. We can't add whatever way we wanted. So for that, we have to go to NumPy. That is the first library we'll be using. NumPy, then you will come across pandas, then matplotlib, then cburn. Everything will come later. Okay, and they will help you to do these mathematical operations. It's not possible in base Python. However, this is the necessary part, learning base Python. Without base Python, you can go anywhere. So you have to learn it properly. Then in the next step, maybe it will take 2 months time. Again in Python, you can divide the base Python into 2 parts. The intermediary, or maybe the introduction to Python, 3 parts. The intermediate stop we have. Then we have the advanced Python, where you will come across object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is a paradigm. It's very, very important. All kind of developments that happen till now and that will happen in future, they are only due to this object-oriented programming paradigm. It also supports functional programming. I'll go to those things one by one. And as I already explained you, it's not a 1 month course or 2 month course. We'll continue. We have a mission. We'll try to achieve this. But remember, for anything and everything to happen, you have to learn Python properly. If you master Python, there will be absolutely no problem learning other stuff. Okay. Yeah. Let's continue now. So what you can do in list, if you want to know that, how can you know that? Let's go there now. Let me write a new list here. Once again, list means invariably you have to start with this bracket. Remember, it's not a curly bracket or any other bracket. Parenthesis is not allowed. Square bracket you need to write. Let me write 10, 20, 30, 40 here. Now, what I will do is, I will try to, okay, directly I can write. In some ID, they don't allow. Directory of A, I would like to check. Okay, you click directory of A, run here. See, when you check directory of A, remember, these are the methods they've given. These are the ones you can do. Suppose you want to see whether multiplication is there or not. If it's not there, you can do. If it's there, you can do. Whatever way the methods are, again, let me tell you, if you are new to this, new to programming, sometimes what happens, I know students, they see this double underscore. This is called dunder in Python. double underscore here, double underscore here, and here something. So for the next 1 month, you just close your eyes. Don't see these things. Okay. That will take away a lot of tension. But yeah, it's conceptual. You will learn, you will like, and it will be very, very easy for you. Don't worry now. For the time being, you don't see any such thing. Okay. What we'll do is we'll see these methods here. These are the methods you can do using list. Append method is there. Clear method is there. Copy, count, what it will count. In a list, what it will count. The number of occurrences it will count. Extend method is there. What is the difference between append method and extend method? If you don't know, how can you know? You need not remember. Once again, I'll tell you how to know. Index, what is the meaning of index? What is the meaning of insert? What is the meaning of pop? What is the meaning of remove? What is the meaning of reverse? What is the meaning of sort? These are the only ones you will be doing in list. Append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert. Remember, these are the ones you have to know. And for that, if I can copy, I can keep there. Otherwise, what I will do is, instead of directory, you just write help. Help means you will get documentation. Okay. They documented well here. You run it. So we'll not see the double underscore under special methods of Python. We'll directly go to append. You see, append. You have to know their technical way. Whatever way they wrote here, you have to know this way. Okay. Initially, still it might create a little bit problem, but you see in 1 or 2 classes, you will feel very comfortable. Now, append self. Self means whatever you have created. I've created 10, 20, 30, 40 here. That is self. Okay. And any object, again, this is very, very important. Object is not the English word here. Object, when they say, it has a different meaning here, because we are bringing object oriented programming. However, before 1 month, we will not try to know the meaning, the real meaning of object here. Just whatever way it's written will apply. But yeah, we'll do something more. So now here, what it says, append method, you can append object to the end of the list. Okay, you can append one object to the end of the list. Object means, let's take one such number like 50. That is an object. Everything is an object in Python. We'll go to that. Okay, so you cross it, you run it, so that everything will go. Now, see, what I will write is a dot. Remember, print I will write, or maybe let it be a dot. Even this dot has a meaning. Initially, you will not go through that, but yeah, after a week or so, you will be able to know what is the meaning of dot. All the methods, whatever given, I showed you, everywhere you need to write dot. A dot append. Suppose I will write a dot append 50. That means what will happen? 50 will be appended here, and the list is changed now. So now if you run it, see, it's not giving you any output because you're not printing anything. You write a print statement here. Yeah, we got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So even if you want to print now, you print here. You print here a naught, a 0. No, not 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want to print everything here. A4. See, it's 50 now. But you print A4 here before appending. If you print A4 here, yeah, there is a problem. Because this is 0, 0th index. Again, let me tell you about index. This is the first index value, second index value, third index value. Okay. Suppose we have a list here and we'll write elements here. You go on writing the indices 0, 1, 2 here, then 3, 4 here, 5 here. Okay. So it starts from 0. If you are from R programming background, in R programming we start from 1. In Python we start from 0. Not only that, we have additional thing here, -5, -4, -3. Okay, little bit different actually, because it will start from -1. Okay, so this will be -1, the last one. Sometimes this will be very, very useful in data analysis. You will be able to know. Okay, and this will be -2. This will be -3. This will be -4. This will be -5. This is like giving roll numbers. Suppose I will make a list and I'll write the names Amit, then Ramit, Rachit, whatever. So if I have these names, this is a list here. In this list, I have written all the names who are studying Python programming. So I can give roll numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that way, but in Python it starts from 0. 0, if you want to print only the first one, the index for Amit is 0, the index for Ramit is 1, the index for Rachit is 2, then Manu, Mami, Anisha. Here from right hand side, if you start, this is -1 for Anisha. For Mami, it's -2. For Manu, it's -3. For Rachit, it's -4. For Ramit, it's -5. And for Amit, it's -6. So this way, the indices will be useful. Every index for one cell. Later, we'll see in dictionary, we have flexibility. Instead of writing numbers, again, you know, that to serially, we have other ways of storing data. We'll go to that later. Now, today I'm discussing only numbers, character, and list, not more than that. Okay. So here, yeah, let me print A4, 0, 1, 2, 3. That's why there is a problem. Okay. So the problem here is A4 is not available. So I can write -1. -1 is the last element. 40. See, with -1 also you get it here. So you can get the last element by writing -1, this element by writing -2, This is the index of this is -2, the index of this is -3, the index of this is -4. So if you want to print 40, there are two ways. Okay, you can write a -1, then you can write print A, then you can write 3, right? It starts from 0. See, 40. So either you go from left to right. If you go from left to right, you start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. If you want to go from right to left, this comes first, -1, then -2, -3, -4. That way also you can print. Okay. Yeah. Now, if you remember, we used append here. So we appended one element. Suppose I write this. Will it work? Will it work? That is the question. So let me run and check. It's not working. It says append takes exactly one argument. Append takes exactly one. So can you add two elements here? That is the question. So if you want to know that because it didn't work, you leave it. You keep it this way so that it will not work. Only print statement. So here we'll write help of list or the name of the list, whatever. So if you run this one here, you go to append. What is written? Append object to the end of the list. You know what is object here? Okay, object, you consider that it's a number now for the time being. What about this extend method? Extend method here, extend list by appending elements from the iterable. Again, iterable is a technical one. Okay, this is for the programmers, Pythonist you can say, or maybe other programming language, those who have done Java and all that, they have some idea about iterable. You need not worry. We'll do it after 3 weeks time. Yep. Now just remember, iterable is something we will learn later. But yeah, extend list by appending elements from the iterable. What are the iterables? There are so many iterables like list and all. So they're saying you can append more here. Iterable. One example of iterable is list. So we'll use that. And then we'll use more iterables later. Okay. But yeah, completely you will be able to know. It will take some time. I don't want to complete everything today. So if you want to write extend here, suppose I will write extend. And here, again, list, I will write a list here. This will work. Yeah, this work. If you want to add more than one element, any iterable you can write here. Again, I'm not going to iterable. List is a iterable. Just remember this much. We'll do more in the next class. So now if you write a list here, this is appended here. Even I can write so many elements, 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever you want. Not only that, any iterable means I can write a set also, but I didn't introduce set, so I'm not writing set now. I can write character also, but I will not go to those things now. Okay, just remember, make it simple. Yeah, I run this. Okay, this is fine. So more than, if you want to use, you can write extend. If you want to add one, then you write append. This is the difference. Just remember. Okay. Now, You can check one by one method. Now what I will do is, using append only, I will try to write 2. Will it work? It will work, okay? See, but you will not get in a proper way, whatever way we wanted. See why it's not proper. See, I will write print length of a. You count the number of elements here. If you count the number of elements here, how many elements here? 5 it shows. Okay. When it shows 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is considered one element here. If you have a question in mind, no, they've written for 1, how we can write 2? This is not 2, this is 1. This is one object. List is an object. So this is one object. We are not appending 2 objects here. We are appending one object. Again, more about object I will discuss in the next class, not today. Okay. So we have to do certain things in installments. So this is one object I added here. If you go back to the extend one, suppose let me write here only, B I will write, and let's make a list of names now instead of numbers. Amit, Ramit. This is one list, okay? Even in list, we can mix up things. That's also allowed. We'll go to that. We can write Amit 10. That also we can write. Now, this is a list where I have taken the strings here. And then I want to append, okay? I want to extend here. Dot extend. And here, in extend, I will write similar thing this way. Okay, 2 things I will extend. Then you will see the difference. Will supplement you with a lot of assignments. Once you do a lot of assignments, your base will be very clear. Okay. Let me write 2 names. Now let me run this one. Print B and print length of B. Now if you run this one, you check here. See, I use append. Append can append only one object. Again, remember, you have to use correct thing. I'm not talking about one element here, one object. Object is different. It's a technical word. It will take a lot of time for you to understand object. And 100% you will get when you study object-oriented programming. Just now, remember object. What are objects? Those things you will be able to know later. Remember, this is one object. Okay. Even in Python, everything is an object. So this is one object. This is one I'm saying. If you write append here, one object we can add. So this is considered as one. In extend, more than one allowed. So this will not be considered as one. Okay. Though this is, see, you check it. What is the length here? Length is 4 here. You see 1, 2. If you consider this as 1, okay, you should get 3. But the length is 4. Length is a function. Remember, length will give you the length of the list. So when I printed the length here, I expected, if I'm a newbie, I expected 10, 20, 30, 40, 4 elements plus to 6 elements, but I got 5 here. But if you see the second one B, here I have 2 names, and then I used extend method. I've written 2 within the bracketed, but yeah, it considered, because this is extend method, it considered this as 1. Okay, so you got less here. Sorry, you got 2. It's extend method, more than 1 allowed, so it accepted as 2. Not only that, no bracket here. Because you have a bracket, that's why it counted this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend, if you are using extend method, you can add more than one. If you are using append method, you can add only one. So even if you write more here, even you write 100, 200, 300, 500, whatever, you write 100 numbers here, the length will not change. It will be 5 only, because this is append. This will be considered one object, and you appended one object, not one element. That is the difference. More you will be able to know. If you have any confusion, you see the video time and again, and get the basics clear. Lot more you learn in installments. It takes some time. Okay, normally 4 to 5 classes if you are new. Now let me write a list like this. I can use names this way, but again, when it comes to naming convention, you can start a name this way. Remember, if I write 50 here, I run, it will not work. See, you can start a variable by writing 1 here. So remember, the letters are allowed A to Z. Okay, I can write here naming convention. I will write later. Okay, just let me continue with the thing what I'm doing. You can start with a number. Remember, you can start with the underscore. Capital letters A to Z are allowed. Small letters A to Z are allowed. It's alphanumeric. Numbers are allowed. But you can't keep space also. You can't define something like this. There is a problem. Okay, there are 4 things only you can remember. You have to write, see, if you run it, it will create problem. Okay, but if you write a underscore here, still it will accept. Yeah, I'll write, there are 4 rules. I'll write here. Yeah, it's, oh yeah, underscore I've written, that's why it's accepted. You can print this this variable. Okay, identifier for 40. Yeah, we'll go to that. I'll write everything. As initially I said, you will have a problematic approach. Okay, slowly we'll develop theory. Will not worry much about those theoretical concept which might not be that useful. Coming back to list now, let me write A. If you write A, the original A will be lost. Okay, but we don't use, so I don't mind writing the same thing here. So if I write 10, 20, 30, okay, then list within a list, 40, 50, 60. This is a list. So if I print here, if I print this list, I will get 1, 2, 3. This is 4. If you find the length, it will give you 4. It will not give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because this is 1 here. This is considered one element. So how can you print 40? Suppose you want to print 10. Remember, the index you can take 0 and you can get 10. Yeah, I got the first element here, 10. You write 1 here, you will get the second element. You write 2 here, you will get the third element. You write 3 here, you will get the fourth element. Okay, even with -1. -1 from the right hand side, you will get this element. The one element is here, this. Okay, so if you count total, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Even here also you can make another list, but I'm not making things complicated in the first class. Just remember. Now suppose you want to print only 40. Okay, then yeah, what I will do is I will write 10 here. Okay, sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3 here I will write. Then I have to write another bracket. You go to 0, the first element of 3 again. So if you print this, you will get 40. So in 3 here, this is 3, 0, and this is 3, 1. This one is 3, 2. So with 3, we have 3 things, 0, 1, and 2. That's all. So you get these elements. Okay. Now, let me write A once again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Suppose I want to change this list. Okay, suppose I want to write print a, sorry, I want to change, so I don't like this 10 here, or maybe these are the marks we have given to the students. We conducted one exam, we want to change the mark of the first guy to 81, suppose. So what we will do is we'll write a0 a naught, that is 81 you write. So this is called one assignment statement. If you write this assignment statement, what will happen, this this number will be changed to 81. Okay, so now print a. Always if you want to check it before and after, you can write two print statements. You check here and then you write a assignment statement, then check here. See, a was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Here I printed a, I got all these numbers, 5 numbers. Here I changed a1, then I printed, I got this way. So this is changed. We have a very important property here in Python, that is immutability. Okay, so we'll go to that. What is mutable, what is not mutable, we'll go to those things later in the next class tomorrow. So here you can change the listing by writing the appropriate index. With that index you write a, so then you can change that particular cell. Okay, whatever it is, you can change that entry. The first entry here 0 you can change. Okay, now let me write a is 10, 20, okay. If you want to open another one, what you can do is you just go to new here, click here, and then here you could see parallelly we can do this one and this one, but whatever a you have written here, that will not be recognized here. In our programming, even if you close this one, once you come back, okay, then also it's there, you have to run it, it's there, but here it will not be recognized. So you have to do it once again. I wanted to introduce for loop today. It's so important for I in range and for loop will continue for 1 month. It's not that today it will be over. For I in range, suppose I want to write 50. Remember, we have to write a colon here. What is the usefulness of colon? See, there is a space here. This is one tab here, normally. One tab. Or maybe 4 spaces you can keep. You can keep 2 space also. Then you can write something here. Suppose print I. This means what? This means actually it didn't work. Okay, there is a meaning why it didn't work. We'll go to that. But yeah, for I in range 50, print I, you have to write this way. So what I'm doing is I'm writing 50 numbers. You see, 50 numbers, 49, 0 to 49, 50 numbers I printed. So range starts from 0 automatically by default, and then it goes to this number minus 1. If this number is 50, it will go up to 49. It will start from 0, then it will go up to 49. So if you start from 0, the first one is 0, second one is 1, that way it will go up to 49. If you want to see everything here, let me write 8. See here, 0, 1 to 7. So by default, remember this for I in range. So what is the usefulness of this this one? In other programming language like R or maybe C programming, we write bracket. Whatever we write within bracket, normally, suppose I write something here, I write something here, I write something here. Once the bracket is over, the whatever you write, the for loop, that is over. For means what? For means it's like this. You have to loop it. Suppose, yeah, I can loop this way. I don't use a pen tablet, so you will not get it proper. This is one loop, another loop, another loop, another loop. You have to continue. So you have to loop. How many times you are looping? Okay, that is for loop. Time and again, repeatedly you have to do the same thing. So if I ask you, okay, this dot is there, this colon is there, that's a replacement for this bracket and this bracket. Now there is a problem. If you have one colon which replaces two brackets, the starting bracket and ending bracket. So starting bracket is fine. With colon you can know. How can you know ending bracket? That is my question to you. My question to you is, suppose you don't want to write bracket in Python, and here for starting bracket I can write colon. That's fine. That means bracket started here. Then how can you fix the where it will end? How can you fix the ending bracket? Because there is no such thing. That's why there is a concept of space. Whatever I want to do, see, if I keep it here, just do it, enter here. Automatically it will take some space. That space is mandatory. That space is compulsory. Okay. So for I in range 8, I can write print I. Tell me how many print statements I've written here. Anyone who can answer? How many print statements will be executed here? Yeah, there will be, it's not one, because we are running a for loop for I in range 8. Remember, when I write range 8, this is a meaning. It starts from 0, it will go to 1, it will go to 2, finally it will end at 7. So 7 times it will loop. Range 8 means 0 to 7. We will not learn more about range later, but now it's 0 to 7. So these numbers will be printed. I will make it 5. Okay, run it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose I want to print the squares. You write here squares. See, squares I got. For I in range, I 0, 0 into 0, that is 0. Then I will take the value 1, 1 into 1, that is 1. Then I will take value 2, 2 into 2, that is 4. Then I will take value 3, 3 into 3, that is 9. Then I will take number 4, 4 into 4, 16. If you want to find any function of I, okay, I can write this way also. 2 into I plus 1. You write that. Or even you can write one assignment statement here. Suppose j is equal to, okay, I square, I power 3, 2i plus 1, whatever you want. Suppose I write I plus 5. Then press here. See, again it will come here. Print j. You run it. See, I got these 4. Now by chance print comes here, then what will happen? Suppose by chance print comes here, then what will happen? Do you think you will get all this? There is a difference between writing print here and print here. If you have a print statement here, that means it's again within the bracket. See, this colon means starting bracket. Remember this way. And the end of the colon means the end of the spaces. Here there is a space, so bracket is not ended. Here there is space, bracket is not ended. Here if I write print j or whatever, print, yeah, I'm fine, I can write. That means here the bracket is over. You bring it here, there is a difference, okay? Because you are out. You are out of the for loop. When you write here, you are out of the for loop. Suppose you do this, you run it, you got, okay, what's the problem? Yeah, I've read an extra. So you run it. See, we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 we got. Okay. Now, I got this, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, suppose I write here, then what I will get? See, I will get only 9. Why? Because what happens is you write the values of I is equal to 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Okay. For I, these values, what are the j values? J is equal to I plus 5, that is 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9. Okay. Now, when you are printing here, that means this has no link with this one. You are only printing j. So what is the current value of j? Suppose I will write a is equal to 10. Then I will write a is equal to 15. Okay. Then I print a here. Then I print a here. It's changing now. So if you write this, see, here a was 10. We defined, but we changed a now. So you are getting 15 here. So the 10 was there, now it changed to 15 because this is the current value. Okay. So this value will be replaced by this value. Now here, again, when I say replacement, it's technical. Okay. Mutability concept will come, that I will introduce in the next class. But yeah, just remember, you will get 15 here. So first value, if you print here, first value of j will be 5. Second value of j will be 6. Last value of j is 9. Okay. Then the loop will end. Then the final value of j will be printed here. Okay. So if you bring print here, all the print statements will be executed. Yeah. Questions? Okay. Yeah, sure. All right.
Guys, if you have any questions, आप सर से पूछ सकते हो regarding any जो भी आपको data science को लेके पूछना है, Python को लेके पूछना है. Feel free to ask any question that you have. I think content wise sufficient है आज की क्लास में सर इतना ही, and we can now take their questions. You can unmute and ask any doubt that you have.
Sir, in the last concept that you taught, sir, why print j is equal to 9 in the last step?
Okay. What we'll do is here, this is a for loop. So that means I is updated. I see initially I was 0, then I was 1, then I2, I3, I4. So it's getting updated. I is getting updated in the for loop. Similarly, j. Forget about j. We'll make it a bit simpler for you. Suppose, let me write I only. I will write print I. Okay, here if I write, you see, I will get all, because every time you are printing, how many times you are printing? We are printing 5 times here, because range is 5, 0 to 4. 5 times you are printing, 5 statements are here. Every time I is changing, I is not fixed here. In for loop, I changes its value. The first value of I will be 0. See, this is equivalent to writing. This is equivalent to writing this. I is equal to 0. Then I is equal to 1. Then I is equal to 2. Then I is equal to 3. Then I is equal to 4. Okay. So this is loop. So if you print here, suppose I print here I, what value you will get? Tell me. I forget about this now. I can make it. Okay. It will not work now. You write hash symbol here. So you run it here. So what value you are getting? Fourth value, last value. Why? Because I was 0, that's fine. If you make a print statement here, you will get 0 because I is assigned to 0. If you write a print statement here, it's 1. If you write a print statement here, you will get 2, that way. So in for loop, what happens is, it gets updated because you are printing the last one. That's why you are getting 4. Okay. So if I run this one, I will get all, because before updating the next value, it's printed, because print statement is within the bracket. However, if you take print here, what will happen? It's invalid syntax anyway. We have not written anything. You print here and you write another print, you write here. See, you will be able to know. The last number you will get here, because this print statement gives these 4, these 5, then this last print statement, that will give the updated last value of 5. Got it?
Yes, sir, got it.
Yeah. Any other doubt? We'll do more about in use. If you are new, if you use 3-4 days, you will get acquainted with this. Yeah, you need some classes. That's all. But yeah, except this is the minimum one. Even this range I can write. By default, it's 0. If you want, you can make it 0 to 5. If you want to make, suppose 5 to 10. Okay. Then I will be 5 to 10. That also you can write 5 to 9. Last one we've written, that's why we are getting 9. That's a separate thing. If you cut this one, it will be 5 to 9. Yeah. Any other question? Even today I introduced 2 methods of list. We'll do more tomorrow. We'll continue with numbers, list and string in the next class also. If you don't have any doubt, I will do something very interesting now. It will take 10 minutes time. So let me know if you have any doubt today regarding anything. Okay, you want to learn more? We have another 15 minutes time. Okay, fine. Import random. Again, what is the meaning of this and all that? This is called a module in Python. There are many modules. One is random, one is math, one is statistics. There are so many modules. So here, random is one of the module. So what will happen is, here, if I import random, I will write print suppose you don't have a die, you want to roll a die. Okay, we'll go to die later, that is discrete. This will give a number. If you check, that is a number between 0 to 1. 83 here, this is a number between 0 to 1. Okay, I will come back to this one. I'm sorry, here I wanted to write something more. It's not that you have to write I dependent only, like 2i. You write anything here, 5 to 10. Okay, I will write, say, I'm fine. You write, I'm fine. Okay, you run it. What will happen? Fine 5 times. That means for I is 5, you print fine. For I is 6, you print fine. For I is 7, this is called a counter. This will run many times. So those things you will learn. Okay. Now coming back to random here, import random, print random.random. So you run it once again. See, we got another number. Remember, these numbers are between 0 to 1. Okay. You run once again, 0.85. You run once again, you got 0.411. You run once again, 0.30. So with random, what all you can do, those things also we can check. Okay, we'll go to the directory, we'll check one by one, we'll do one by one. It takes time. If you learn it properly, it takes time. I don't want to do in a hurry because you are now making foundation. Now random is there. We'll change it to, we have a random.uniform also. If by chance you get a mistake, see this is the error, what we'll do is, we'll in uniform, see two missing required positional arguments given. Even if you are not able to understand this one, we can go to directory and then we can give the value. See 0, 1 you have to write, then only you will get a number between 0 to 1. The benefit of writing this one is, we can write a 10 here also. You get a number between 0 to 10. But remember, we are getting all the numbers, not necessarily integers here. Okay, you write 100 here. Now, suppose I want to get many numbers, I can run a for loop here. That's why I showed it here. I can run a for loop here to get 100 numbers. Okay. So 0 to 100, I got a number. I run it once again, 68. Random we are getting. So suppose you want to roll a die, the discrete one you have to make it. Rand int. I'll show you everything tomorrow. We'll continue with this one once again. So if you write random.rand int, suppose I will write 1 to 6. It's like rolling a die. If you roll a die, you get any number between 1 to 6. You see, you got a 3 here. Roll a die second times 1. Roll a die third time 6. Then 3. Then 1. Then 3. But you are not able to keep it somewhere. So how can you keep this thing somewhere? That is important. So to keep this thing somewhere, we need some extra things. Okay, that's what we'll do in the next class. We're able to find this. Okay, let's print many such number. Okay, I can write a for loop for I in range 50. Suppose I want to get 50 numbers between 1 to 6. I want to roll a die 50 times. Okay, this will not work because there is no indentation. This is called indentation in Python. It will show in red. See, now it's fine. So what I'm doing is, instead of running time and again, I showed you run here, run here, run here like that. I need not write. I need not run it 50 times. You just write a for loop for I in range 50. You write this. Okay. So this will be run 50 times. And every time it will give you a random number between 1 to 6. Random numbers between 1 to 6. Suppose somebody says you find the average of all this. You know, average will be around 3.5. If you study statistics, then fine. Otherwise also, you definitely will learn on the way. So I can collect all these numbers and then I can find the mean. Okay. So yeah, you can write it 50 times, 100 times. Okay. All these things you can do. If you write it 500 also, you can do it 500 times. Now here, see, okay, random is not present here. Suppose I'll write import random. And then A I will give. Okay. A is equal to this one I will write. Okay, then print A. Then I'm saving whatever number, that number between 1 to 6, any integer, not necessarily number, any integer between 1 to 6 that will come, that will be saved in A, see 2. If you run it once again, it's 6. If you run it once again, then it's 4. Okay, so you can keep in A, so you can store it. That is the benefit. Okay, now one number you can store. Here you have 50 numbers. How can you store 50 numbers? For that, you have to make a list here which can store 50 numbers. Okay, let me write something. But if you don't create a list here, 0, 0, 0, like that, 50 times you have to write. If you don't have a list here, then it will create problem. So instead of that, you can write 50. So I have even you can write 10 here also, it doesn't matter because these things will be updated. So now A is a list. If you want, you can print A. You can check what is there in A. If you have any problem, you can check it. Okay, we'll do that. What is initially A, then after writing a for loop, what will happen? And don't worry about this dot, why I'm writing, where I got ren int, everything I will explain. I'm introducing you the things. In the next class, I will discuss in details about everything I discussed today. We'll do once again. We'll give you some questions. After that, after 3-4 classes, we'll give you assignments. Okay. So it's a blended approach. So like from your side also, you have to do a lot. And with time, you'll definitely develop and you will rise to a great height. Now, I want to run it 50 times. Okay. So that's why I've written it. But I have to keep, after running, I have to keep somewhere. So what I will do is, I will write AI in the ith number. Okay. A0, A1, A2, A3. I'm keeping all this. So I'll write here A. This is over. So what I did is, when I is 0, okay, this will be executed once. Then that will be stored in A0. When I is 1, A1 will be another random choice between 1 to 6. When I is 2, there will be another random choice. Already you have 0, 0, 0 here. Those things will be replaced by the new values. So you run it now. Let me write print A also, so that this one again I will write. Yeah, there is a problem. What is the problem? List assignment index out of range. Okay. So 50 are here, 0 to 49, 50 are here. What is list assignment index out of range? Random renint 1 to 6. Here 50 I've written, right? Yeah, 0 to 49, there 50. 0 to 49. Print A. 50, 0 to 49. Yeah, that's fine. Index error, right? For I in range 50, AI is random.renint print A. It says 6th line. Yeah, this one. 0 to 49. Okay, you can check this way. Yeah. Oh, this is, oh God, I have to write. Okay, we have to write something. Now you do it. See, initially I had zeros 50 times. Now, whatever random number I got from 1 to 6, they are here. All are updated now. How to find mean? I'm not doing that today. We don't have time, and I don't want to make it complicated for you. But remember, we'll continue with this one, and we'll do more for loops. You will get acquainted with this, and then we'll continue. But remember, I kept in every index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 number from here, and these are updated. Even if you change it to 10, how it will make a problem? Because whatever is here, these are updated by these numbers. Okay. If you don't write anything, then the problem will come, because you have not created something. See, even this also worked. AI, oh, maybe A was there somewhere before. Okay, that's why. So do one thing. If you see this one, we'll do something which is not there. Okay. Yeah, there is a problem, you see. If A is not there, it will not understand what is AAA0. In AA0, you are supposed to keep this one, but it's not there. That's the problem. So if you write AAA here, you write 50 zeros, 50 tens, 50 100, whatever you write, it doesn't matter. Okay. Normally I can write 50, I can't write, so I can multiply. Fortunately, I have operation. If I write this 50, then 50 zeros are here. Then you can run here. Yeah, it worked. And I didn't print AA also here, so I got my numbers. Then I would like to take the mean. Even all of you, I ask you, in real time, you have to think of a number, you tell me. With this simple operation, I can match your number. Whatever aggregate you get, that I can match by using central limit theorem. Yeah, we'll go to those things later. But I mean, first 3-4 classes, it will go this way only. See you tomorrow again. Yeah, all details will give you, and we'll continue tomorrow. Still, we have 3 minutes time. If you have anything to ask, you are welcome. Yeah. Yeah, I can't hear you. Please speak loudly.
Sir, in the next class, you will explain the for loop again from starting now.
Yeah. In next time, what we will do, that was also part of agenda. So next time, again, we'll do more about strings, more methods of list, and then we'll come back to import random. We'll do more of random. We'll do more of list. We'll do more of Python. More of for loop. So whatever I taught today, suppose I've completed 20% of whatever I taught today. At that level, I'm saying. Then we'll continue tomorrow. That way, it will take more time. The more you study, the more you will know. Today, whatever possible, because there is a saying we can understand only up to half an hour, 40 minutes. We should not have very big 3-4 hour classes. Okay, we planned though, because we have less time, 2 hours. So tomorrow, you see, you will learn more of everything you learned today. And by 3, if you attend 3 classes properly, you try to learn. After that also, when company uploads this one, you can see the video time and again. You might get in your mail also. I don't know the procedure. So then you go to the video time and again. You try to learn it. Keep your doubts, and if possible, you can email your doubts before the next class, and or whatever way possible, and we'll address those doubts. And even next time also, because I am new to you guys and you are also new to me, slowly we'll develop chemistry, and the tuning will be more from class to class. You will be able to understand my way of teaching, my way of learning. Okay. So yeah, it will be good. We'll continue everything. Whatever doubt you can ask. See, we are there for you. I already explained our mission. We have not just started like teaching Python programming. We have a goal. We'll do data science stuff, machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, natural language processing, computer vision. All things we'll do. From A to Z we'll do. Okay, you will be there for us. Most of you, I know, till the end of this year. Okay, so yeah, a lot of things will happen. You are free to ask anything and everything. Okay. Yeah.
Sir, what is the difference in between like performing in the Python software itself and Jupyter Notebook?
Jupyter Notebook is optional. Okay, it only helps. You want to drive. Suppose you want to go from A to B. You can go by a bike. You can go by car. You can go by walking. You can go by cycle. Even if you don't have anything, Jupyter. Forget about Jupyter Notebook. Even Sublime Text is very, very light. It takes a lot of space. I can show you using Sublime Text. Also, you can do everything. But yeah, there is a difference between riding a bike and a car. I'll tell you the difference. In Jupyter Notebook, you can study Python, but you will be able to do whatever. See, where Python, it supports Python. See, Java, it supports HTML, it supports Haskell language, it supports so many languages. Okay, everything is there. MATLAB also. But then the basic you can do here. When you go to the advanced level, when we'll import libraries like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, then Jupyter Notebook will be helpful. Jupyter, if you ask me what is Jupyter, this was before IPython Notebook. If you see the extension, you will be able to know. So whenever you will get this one, if I download this, I will send you. You will be able to know. You will get it file. If I click here, I save a copy here. Then you see download. You will get IPython extension. Okay, I can show you here also. See everything, whatever here, all are IPYNB. This was before IPython. Now they change it to Jupyter. So this will help you only. Ultimately, you can walk. You can walk means originally when Python developed, they had only IDLE. Okay. If I write even IDLE, here also I can do things. Okay. Suppose I will write, wait. Yeah, I will write A is equal to 5. Then B is equal to 10. Then write C is equal to A plus B. So here I'm not using any external IDE. Okay. Then print C. This will work. So this is like walking. Okay. So people, they used to do just press enter. You will get 15. This is there always with you. Ideally. So you can work here also. You don't need to come to Jupyter Notebook. With PyCharm, you can use PyCharm. You can use Spider. You can use Visual Studio. So there are a lot of IDEs, the text editors. In R programming, we use RStudio. That is the best. Even Jupyter can be used for R programming also. So Jupyter gives lot of flexibility. Okay. As I said you before when I started the class, this is open source Jupyter. Obviously, all are open source. Most of the things here. Sublime Text I showed you, the studio, and everything is open source these days. This is a web application. Jupyter Notebook is a web application. You see, if you have Chrome, you can run it on Chrome. You see, you will get localhost 8888 like that. You will get this one. We don't need internet for this, but yeah, we are working on browser here. It's browser based. And the benefit is, so now I'm just taking you through the introduction class. You will see the live code you can write here. You will see visualization here only. We need not go to any other page. So everything we'll do here, we save this one and we can mail to everyone. Okay. So it's very, very flexible and it's very easy. You can connect immediately real time. You can go to any website from here. I will write. You can write all kind of graphs, everything that will come here. So these kind of functionalities are not available in most of the IDEs. Though later, if you go to deep learning, when you do artificial neural network, there we might change to Google Colab. That is where most of the people they work, because what happens is some deep learning methods are there which takes some days, 2 days, 3 days, 1 month even. Okay. So there what will happen is you must purchase a computer which will cost you around 2 to 3 lakhs. Even that might not work. You have to work in cloud, and then Google gives free Google Colab if you use, that's free. So there are so many. We have Jupyter Lab also. But if you ask me, those who do data science, 70 to 80% they use Jupyter Notebook. Many they shifted to Jupyter Lab. Okay, but this is again Jupyter, and some they use PyCharm. PyCharm is the best one for Python. Like R Studio is the best one for R programming. PyCharm is the best one if you want to be a Python developer. Okay, because you can debug your code there. However, if you come to data science, Python developer has a different meaning than studying data science, because as I explained you before, if you want to go to that line, you want to be a Python developer, you study 2 months of Python, then you learn Django framework, the backend development you can do. For that you should learn Flask, Django, all these, and you can make APIs, web APIs you can make, like the COVID cases you can track. You will have a link where everything will come. Okay, that's a great thing. I'll go to API, okay, later. In Python, we can do a whole lot of things, okay. Also in other programming languages, but mostly those who do data science and machine learning, then artificial intelligence, everything is written in Python. If you have time, I can show you those things here. 5 minutes. The meeting was scheduled up to 5 p.m., but still it's there. See, NumPy. So what will happen is, if you go to NumPy here, you see, if you go to NumPy tutorial, okay. You will wonder to know, I can keep a image. See, this is one code, mathematics code, okay. Maybe you will have a bigger one. See, it's all mathematics. So this kind of a code will be there. Here, I can save today's video. Today's class video, I can save here in NumPy with a set of numbers. With a set of numbers, when you run this code, you will get that video. Video means it's a collection of frames. Every frame is a figure. That figure you can divide into pixels. Those pixels we keep here, okay. So those things you can do only after learning NumPy. So this NumPy, by default it's there in Jupyter Notebook, but if you are using PyCharm or maybe you are using Sublime Text, you have to import. Sometimes it takes a lot of time, it creates a problem. Because we are using this, we brought it from Anaconda distribution. Anaconda distribution, that's a package, okay. Again, it's free, open source, it's a distribution. Here you have Python, R coding, you can go to that. See, when you go to Anaconda, rather than Jupyter, because Jupyter is a part of Anaconda, you can say Anaconda distribution. You see, better we write Jupyter, this one, Jupyter Anaconda, not install, Anaconda distribution. If you go to this, you see Anaconda Navigator, you will get this in your computer also if you have installed. See, this is PyCharm also there with Anaconda. Jupyter is one of them, okay. So because most of the data scientists and the students studying data science, they're using this. If you use this, whatever you refer to the net, you want to get it, you will get it easily. See, somebody has written in Spider or maybe some other Sublime Text. So it will be hard for you to get that one. Even certain things will not work in Sublime Text. I'll let you know later. But initially, Sublime Text, if you download, you can go to Python. Python, if you simply write, see, Python, only you write Python. See, this is, you can download Python from here. If you have space problem, you can download Python here 3.8.2. Then you can work here. This is mainly Python. This is the main one, okay. This is like a human, and if you want to walk, if you install Python, you get ideally from Python. Okay, and most of the things you can do base Python. I'm saying most of the base Python you can do using ideally, but then you have to take the help of some kind of text editor, or you can say IDE. We say integrated development environment, we say, okay, IDE. So that IDE you need to get. Again, here, if you want to install Python, you want to do directly for the 1 month, it won't create any problem. But then later you need to move anyway. The other thing is, along with Python, you go to Sublime, you write Sublime 3 here. Now we are doing Sublime Text 3. Okay, if you download this, then you can do using Sublime Text also. Here, this also looks very good. Okay, initially it will not create a problem. But then for the first time, I'm saying you, I've started with Jupyter Notebook because ultimately you have to go there. So why not start from here? Okay, so that you will be familiar. You will be learning codes at the same time. You will be learning how to use Jupyter Notebooks, how to save here, where it's there. Okay, even I didn't go to all those things because I wanted to focus on the coding part. Slowly you will be able to know. The more you use, the more familiar you will be. It will not create any problem. Yeah, but this is Python, individual Python. Okay, this is the main one. 5 years before, or say 10 years before, you had only Python. You had no such thing, though Visual Studio was there. Yeah. Now in Anaconda distribution, we have one Spider. This one even you can do. If you are from R programming, this will be like RStudio. They are similar. Okay. Well, here you have 4 windows. Here you have 4 windows. See, Jupyter Lab we have, right? So we have so many ways we could. PyCharm is the best one, I agree. But those who are Python developers, they use PyCharm. Even you can also use PyCharm, but PyCharm is heavy. Okay, if you have a i7 computer and you have a lot of space, the space problem is not there, you can do using whole lot of things. But ultimately, the bottom line is, you know Python programming or not, then what will happen? Then it's better you choose one IDE. Particularly, I would suggest you to go for Jupyter, because most are using Jupyter, and the advantage you will be able to know later. Not only NumPy, one thing I showed you. Then the next NumPy, if you want to master NumPy, it might take 1 month time. Okay. Then you go to Matplotlib. Again, when you download, let's see, Matplotlib, all kind of graphs you will be able to draw here. Okay. So if you go to the tutorial, see, awesome graphs. Even if you write coronavirus, you can draw that. This is called visualization. Okay. This is a mathematical structure. Okay, if it will continue, you will see the same thing. You go to this branch, then smaller, that way. This is called fractal. Okay, I'm not going to that. See, awesome, right? This is Seaborn. Seaborn separately I can show you. Then comes the next one, Pandas. Pandas came from panel data. Okay, all kind of data analysis you do using Pandas. So if you go to tutorial, you see whatever you have kept in your Excel file, you can import that. Okay, 10 minutes to Pandas. So these are separate, right? Listen carefully. If you have time, Python is a language. Suppose I know English language. So then what? When I study mathematics, I will learn triangle, rectangle. Maybe I didn't learn those things in mathematics, or maybe calculus, okay, differentiation, integration. I will learn more of English. I study physics, I will learn more of English. I study history, I will learn more of English. That way, we have base Python you need to know. Then if you do data science, you will learn more. You do deep learning, you learn more. I will show you certain things here. See, NumPy is used in Pandas also. Panel data. Pandas means panel data. See, if you want to do any kind of data analysis, base Python is not sufficient. Why Python gained so much importance? Because Python developed along with the development of machine learning and artificial intelligence. So whatever way, parallelly, whatever way those areas were developing, that way this also developed. Okay. So all this, if you see, data analysis, the Excel file you can import, you can do all kind of data analysis easily, where Excel will take 5 hours time, here you can do in 5 minutes. Again, if you want to master this is on the top of NumPy. Okay, NumPy, pandas, all those things we have. Yeah. Then I've showed you two things. Then sklearn, this is the last one I will show you. Everything you have inbuilt. You need not worry for anything and everything. This is scikit-learn. See here, these things you can do. Here all this classification, regression, clustering, everything you can do. So everything comes once you use Anaconda distribution. If you didn't download, you download it, install it, and you start learning from here. That will be awesome for you. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Any other question from your side? No? Fine then. I'm leaving now. Thank you a lot. Fine. Bye-bye.